individual prayers. Our business correspondent Paul Kelso is in Oxford Street in central London, synonymous with shopping. What does it look like, Paul?
Yes, Adam here. I'm outside Selfridges, just off Oxford Street, a temple to non-essential retail, if ever there was one. And there are already some queues building up here. Dozens of people, tens rather than hundreds, but the doors don't open for another hour or so. The stickers are on the pavement marking out the 2-metre distances. And of course, this part of central London, so synonymous with retailing, has been a bit of a bellwether for the state of the lockdown because it's been absolutely abandoned, essentially, for the last 3 months. Very little businesses operating around here, very small residential footprint, and so no reason for people to come here. That's going to change today across the West End, and I'm joined by Jace, Tyrrell, who is the chief executive of the new West End company that manages the interests of the retailers here. Jace, what are you expecting today? What have your members done to prepare?
Well, the West End's opening, as you say, after 3 months, so customers are easing their way into it, but safety is our top priority, so a huge amount of measures inside the stores, obviously to make sure it's safe for colleagues returning and customers, but lots of measures outside, huge amount of signage, sanitisation points almost in every corner of the West End, and social ambassadors, making sure that we're adhering to those rules, and as you say, over 1,000 stickers on queue protocols. But there's a lovely pace about it, no mass crowds, and actually we're easing our way into this, and it's going to feel very different around the West End for quite some time.
On that question of how it feels, shopping's a social activity, particularly browsing in high-end stores like this. Is it going to be any fun?
Well, I think there's a bit of fun. We're about to see some DJs outside Selfridges, so I think it is still the art of experience retail. I think browse with your eyes, not with your hands, is the message at the moment. I think we're seeing great more space created on Oxford and Regent Street. We've doubled the pavement, so I think for coming out into the high street, you're going to have a lot more space to move. There will be some surprise and delight moments, but I think it's going to be more like a summer in Sunday, easing into it. It's not a mad dash before Christmas.
But is it viable? Is it simply viable with these kind of measures? I mean, can you really make margins work as retailers, or do you need more by way of relaxing the rules to ensure these shops can remain open medium and long term?
I mean, it's going to be hugely challenging, this recovery, and actually we really call on the government to fast-track this review of social distancing. You know, we need to know sooner rather than later if it's 1 metre, and actually any chance for our retailers, our hotels and restaurants to survive this year. We need to get away from the default being social distancing. We need really effective track and trace, treatments for obviously COVID, and also hopefully a vaccine. So we hope the default is not social distancing. We need to know as soon as possible that we're going to move away from that. And of course, this quarantine for overseas tourists, we need to get to a level playing field sooner rather than later to attract visitors back later this year.
If people do end up closer together, though, are you not concerned that retail could become the place where people might be catching COVID, frankly, and that this virus hasn't gone away? You could end up with breeding grounds where you'd like to have pleasurable shopping experiences.
I think we've all got to live with this pandemic and this virus for quite some time. So we have all those other measures in place. Hopefully we can move away from social distancing. But I think the great British public know there is a virus out there. They are being sensible, and let's hope that continues as we start to slowly unlock our businesses.
Jace, thanks very much indeed. So we'll look throughout the day to see how this goes. It is a Monday morning, not typically a busy time for shopping. One group I am looking for and perhaps expecting to see is that if you are a teenager, perhaps even a school-age kid, you have been locked at home for 3 months, you're now being encouraged to go to the shops and of course not able to go to school. So we'll see if that's the picture here and across the country throughout the day on Sky News.
OK, Paul will be back with you for the grand opening of Selfridges, Oxford Street at 11, I think. From today, anyone travelling on public transport in England must wear